Billy Bob Thornton, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. This is definitely one of those pinch myself moments. We are talking about Goliath, Season 2, and it's coming out on Amazon Prime June 15th. What are we going to see here at the beginning of Season 2?
Well, the first couple episodes are really sort of the setup and showing where I am, from the previous season. It's a few months later, and I've won this big case in the first year, and I have quite a bit of money. But it doesn't really matter much. The personality doesn't change a lot. So, it just shows me still living at the motel and drinking at Chez J, and so the demons follow me along,
Yeah. And Mark Duplass is coming in this second season, and I've heard that you are describing this season as more Hitchcockian. What do you mean by that? How does that feel going to come into the season?
Well, the first season there was a lot of courtroom stuff. This season has less courtroom and more what you might call detective work. So I'm out there kind of in the field, you might say, a little bit more. And a lot of people were comparing last season to, kind of a version of like The Verdict with Paul Newman. This time it's more like you add The Verdict and Harper, which was another movie that Paul Newman did where he was a detective. So this one gets pretty strange, and there's some surreal stuff that happens, and there's some scenes that are just very much like Vertigo, the Hitchcock movie, So I think that's probably where I got that reference. I think episodes 6 through 8, I would say, are, if you add Hitchcock with David Lynch, it's kind of like that.
And congratulations on winning a Golden Globe for Best Actor in the first season. And between that and Fargo, I feel like those are two extremely well done shows that you led the way in. The first season of Fargo I thought was the best. They've all been great. Do you feel like you're doing your best work right now? Do you feel like you're getting better as you get more, become a more seasoned veteran actor? What do you feel like is the best thing you've done in your career as far as acting?
Well, I mean, you always hope everything gets better as you go along. I mean, you certainly learn more, about, mostly about the business. I mean, I don't know that I'm that much of a different actor than I was 20 years ago, but I've certainly learned more about the business. That's why I stay home. But yeah, with Fargo and Goliath, both of them showed me that the sort of premium, shows and television, that's kind of where the independent film business lives, and that's where my bread and butter was. So I certainly like this format. I like it. Feels like you're doing like an 8-hour independent film, really, and it makes me feel good.
With Fargo, they've jumped around on timelines each season, and then last season actually brought a character back at a different time in their life. Would you ever come back and be a part of that series again, maybe a prequel season, and have your character make an appearance?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. That would be interesting, and I would certainly entertain that thought. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they cook up here.
You've also in the past said, I'm obsolete as a writer and a director. Why would you say that? What makes you feel that way?
Well, I think I'm pretty much an actor and a musician. I mean, as a director, I had a success with Sling Blade, but that's been, 25 years ago. So I just don't know. Most of the stuff that I write is based on Southern literature and experiences I had growing up, and things I observed back in the South and in Texas. And so I'm just not sure those stories, I'm not sure Tennessee Williams would make it now. I'm just really not sure. But I was influenced by people like Steinbeck and Faulkner and Erskine Caldwell, people like that, and I'm just not sure those are the kinds of stories that people are interested in anymore.
And because you're such a good actor, writer, director, you're a musician, you're so talented, but you also you're unlike some celebrities, you're not always in your face. you kind of have more of a lifestyle where you're not putting everything out there. So over time, rumors and stuff get out there, and you've kind of become this. There's been these great stories about your lifestyle and stuff like that. What's the craziest rumor that you've heard about yourself where you've just kind of laughed and you couldn't believe that it was out there?
Well, years and years ago, people it got out there somehow that I'm a vampire, and that I lived in a dungeon, and that I drank blood and all this kind of stuff. That was pretty silly.
Do you have any idea where that comes from?
I don't know. Sometimes you'll mention something in an interview, and you're really joking, but sometimes irony is kind of lost on some people, and it turns into something. I remember a guy asked me a question one time that he wasn't supposed to ask me, and I told him that I was Benjamin Franklin. That was my answer, and I was joking, of course, and he said, well, you mean you're reincarnated from Benjamin Franklin? And I said, well, I don't know if I'm reincarnated. I've always been Benjamin Franklin. I was Benjamin Franklin in 1776, and I'm Benjamin Franklin now. And the next thing you know, for years and years, people would ask me why I thought I was Benjamin Franklin, and it's like, well, it seems to me, if somebody said that to me, I would know they were joking,
The sarcasm didn't translate, apparently.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Talking about current events, we're having an unprecedented moment right now with U.S. trying to make peace relations with North Korea. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know enough about it to comment on it, To tell you the truth, I'm just in the entertainment business, and a lot of times, people in the entertainment business are asked about political stuff or social issues and things like that, and I'm not sure that a lot of entertainers are qualified to talk about it. I mean, if I'd grown up in politics and I knew more about it, maybe I could comment on it, but I really don't, and I always wonder why anybody would care what I think about it anyway.
All right, well, that's a good, honest answer. And Billy Bob Thornton, thank you so much for being with me today. It was an honor, a pleasure. I appreciate it. Twin Cities, make sure you check out Goliath. Season 2 comes out on Amazon Prime June 15th.
Thanks,
you very
much. Thank you so much, buddy.